Welcome. We have returned to Norsden Land for a special 3-episode mini-series or arc. Like just about every person on the planet, I was inspired by the Artemis 2 mission, and it was always my goal to go to the moon on Norsden Land to Neso. And I've been putting it off for the longest time, thinking I was going to simulate the whole thing in real time, and I was like, ain't nobody got time for that. And then I was finally like, okay, this needs to happen now. Just do it. And so we're doing it. We're going to the moon. We're going to, in this first part, we're going to collect a few raw resources that we need for the mission. The first thing that we need to do is craft 2 larger oxygen tanks. This will allow us to breathe a much longer period on the moon, which is going to be necessary. The other thing that I've done is I've crafted 2 buckets, and the 2 buckets are to allow us to collect 2 water sources, which we can then use to build an infinite water source. And that is one thing, one objective of this first episode is we need to collect water. The other thing that we need for the oxygen collector to work so that we can actually compress the oxygen and refill our tanks is we need leaves. But not just any leaves and not just any water. So we'll be going to craft our oxygen tanks right now out of some tin ingots. The next thing we need to do is smelt some steel. So we'll come up here to this electric furnace and then switch that stuff out so that it actually goes through. This is actually set to pull all sorts of different things from the generator, and it just so happens that there's a ton of cobblestone that we're slowly converting to stone so that we can use it as concrete, but that'll take years of time to complete. So we'll just go ahead and run the steel through right now. With all our steel collected, it's now time to fly off and grab some wool from our wool farm. I can't remember if I've shown this before, the sheep farm, but it's been greatly expanded from where it was last time in order to help me build the rocket, which we'll be able to see at the very end of the mission. So the sheep farm is underground, and we just need a bunch of red wool. I got bays for every type of colored sheep. We got your red and gray scale, and every color of the rainbow, really. And we need 6. And that's enough. So we'll go ahead and get this back to the crafting tables so that we can craft it. By now you guys have undoubtedly noticed my ability to glide here, which is brought to you by the power armor developed in our special ops area known as the Square. I think that was featured on a previous episode as well. It's this gear that makes our spaceflight manufacturing and operations technology feasible. Because otherwise we'd have to use ladders and scaffolding, and it would just be a mess. Well, this time the windmills are making electricity. And now we can craft our oxygen tanks. We've got all of the materials. So we can only carry 2 at a time, and then we'll just recharge these on the moon. That's the goal. Hopefully the recharge is fast enough that you refill them faster than you drain them. If not, then I guess we're coming home early. Now that we've got the tanks crafted, it's time to get them with the rest of the materials that we're taking to the mission, which is all located in our train station here. All of the materials that I'm taking are on the platform in this box here. So you can see there's a whole lot of materials that we need. There are 3 levels of mission that we're trying to accomplish here. We've got a book and quill to leave our name on the map. We've got 5 solar panels to generate us electricity. We've got copper wiring to connect everything together. We've got an oxygen collector to collect our oxygen. That's why we need the leaves. We have an oxygen pipe to collect all the different things here. The oxygen bubbles distributor, which we can breathe with. The battery box to store electricity at night. Then we've got some raw materials, the steel ingots and the oxygen machinery there. We need a bronze ingot, which is at the launch site. We'll craft that into an oxygen compressor. Then we've got 81 dirt to farm with, a stone hoe to obviously do the farm. We've got our 81 seeds that will help to generate our oxygen. Then we've got sealable pipes that go into the base without breaking the seal, which is why you need the oxygen sealer. That generates the oxygen in the base, an electric furnace to smelt with, glowstone for lights because there's no oxygen so torches don't work, the tin to actually build the base with, and our space helmet, obviously. We took that from the square, some glass for windows, and then we've got our oxygen tanks, which we'll hold on to now because we've run out of inventory space, as well as the buckets, which we're going to fill now. And remember, we said we're not just filling them anywhere. So here is an entire map of all of Norsden Land. And so what we're going to do this episode is retrieve water and leaves in special locations. So we're starting out here in New Venice. We are going to take our airship out to the small one, out to Moorside. We're going to park it in the tundra, and then from Lake Rothsan, which is right here that I'm highlighting, this is where we'll get our water. And then the district of Audiam Woods, which I'm highlighting now, is where we're going to get the leaves from. And then we'll return back to New Venice to ship everything out. Okay, so given that map, you can now appreciate this wall map here. So the green dot right there represents where we are in New Venice. And why all this fuss? Well, because Lake Rothsan and the Audiam Woods are very important to the identity of Norsden Land. So we'll zoom in here on Moorside, so we'll park the airship right about there. We will then collect our water from Lake Rothsan, so we'll march to the southern extent of Rothsan. We'll then take a boat up through the top to the purest section of the lake, up at the very top where we meet the tundra. And right there is a waterfall that comes out of a rock formation there that we're going to try to collect from. We'll return back to the airship, and then we'll go into the Audiam Woods, and right about there is Great Audiam Mountain. And from a tree on Great Audiam Mountain is where we're going to collect our leaves that we will use to produce oxygen that we will be able to breathe on the moon with. And then we'll return here to New Venice. All right, having woken up bright and early, we will go ahead and make our way out to New Venice National Airport, which is going to be in about this direction. And yes, of course I'm flying because it's going to save even more time. All right, we're crossing Route N1 here, the major north-south arterial road. And then we've got our airport here. It's been forever since I've been out this way. But it appears that I've actually got an oxygen collector already going and a compressor. So we'll actually go ahead and try to fill the tanks here to validate that this works, and it does. So we've actually got 2 oxygen compressors. We've got the first one here at the airport. I believe this is the first oxygen compressor to ever come online. The second one is at the Stardew Rise Space Center, which is a long way from here. Just about as far as the Moorside landing area that we'll be going out to. There's nothing down here. All right, we'll just wait for those tanks to fill. You know what? Screw it. Let's just get out of here. Time's a wasting. All right, so we'll plunk our little Zeppelin down here on the runway, which uses, I guess, hybrid lift, and try and control it as best as we can. This thing is pretty squirrely. Into a slow takeoff. This is probably not going to go well. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, that's a bit spooky. All right, so we're on a slightly northwesterly course now, over the A&N canal. It looks like gentle increase in altitude, and we've cleared the tree line. Wow, I've seen a lot more successful takeoffs here. I guess I'll just narrate what's under us on the flight now. So I believe this will be Rush Lake that we're going over top of right now, to the north of New Venice. And this is a lake that I have quarried out many a times. Actually, this is this was the Halo Sea. Rondak Lake is actually to the south. I have not quarried the Halo Sea. And let's see, now we're crossing into the southernmost regions of the Andron Sea. This is north of Berg Lake and Oxford River. So we're slowly starting to make our way out of the eastern swamps. And we should see Swamp End Ditchland now coming onto the screen. Yep, there it is in the northwest. Gonna fly over this disgusting thing, and then in a little bit we should start to see the south central tundra. All right, so just a thin strip of land here. Okay, we're going a little bit north, so I believe this is Isa Cove that we're going past, and there it is. Okay, so there's the start of the tundra. We'll pick up the line a little bit, head up towards. Given our current trajectory, we're heading more towards Os, so we should be able to see Os a little bit here. We'll also see line 4 where that crosses, as well as my A340, which is the stand-in Minecraft version, is parked at the Os airport that we should briefly see in passing. That looks like line 4. Yep, that is the other high-speed rail line that we have here. We're not, of course, taking the railroad today because it doesn't go where we need it to. There we go. We just passed Os there. And now we're starting to enter Utah Cove. Now, we've actually run out of fuel. And of course, it doesn't burn junglewood planks. It doesn't burn logs. So we're just going to have to give it another full coal. And we're probably going to only end up using a quarter of the fuel. Lovely. And so what I'm looking to figure out where we are, we should see the sunset windows in the November rock face to our right, and then the Ledge of Legends to our left. And so we'll basically be using those two to sort of set up our landing approach. And we want to land. There's a lake to the south, a large lake that looks like a dragon that is unnamed, and then a smaller lake called Africa Lake. Okay, I think we're heading towards the Ledge of Legends here. Yep, so this is the Ledge of Legends. We should get to see that. I've been wanting to perform a tour out here, and you can see now. Obviously, this is the start of the autumn woods, right? The purple autumn trees, the orange autumn trees, and the yellow autumn trees are present at this point. Or is it red? I think it's purple. Yeah, purple, red, and orange are the three varieties of autumn trees here. But yeah, okay. So the formation is the Ledge of Legends, but the actual Ledge of Legends, that's this right here. So we'll just kind of see if we can. Yeah, that's not going to work out. Yeah, we'll have to tour that. Okay, and that is the eastern front of the Great Redwood Forest. So we're getting close to the end of Moorside here. There we go. There's a little bit of a view of Ledge of Legends. Okay, now we need to look at our landing location here to the northeast. You should see a lake, which I've called Africa Lake. It looks like the shape of Africa. I think we want to land just to the south of that. That should be coming onto the map any second. Looks like we're a little bit south. Yeah, a little bit south of where I want to be right now. It's a little bit difficult to control. Okay, there's Africa Lake now coming on. So this is pretty much our ideal landing location. So we'll set up to land here. So the Autumn Woods is now to our northeast, and Lake Rothsan is to our northwest. Still got plenty of fuel, which is good. Running through my GUMPS checklist because I've been flying IRL a whole bunch, so doing the whole gas undercarriage mixture prop switches. Uh, on this, it's pretty much gas. That's the only thing here. And we'll start our descent here with our lovely gauges that do absolutely no function whatsoever. We do have other ships, though, that have somewhat gauges, and let's just go ahead and slide in here for the Tundra, and we're done. Okay. And just punch this thing a whole bunch of times, and we should get it back. There we go. Okay. All right, so now that won't go anywhere. We've got a place, so yeah, we're looking towards Lake Rothsan right now. And I think the big hill up there is probably Great Autumn Mountain. But yeah, we're going to head into. Actually, wait, no, that can't be Great Autumn Mountain because it doesn't have trees on it. All right, so we're heading into the village here, which I gotta look this one up real quick. Okay, it is not the town of Oscar Sierra Hotel. It is the town of Oscar Sierra Kilo. So this is the town of Osk. I don't really remember coming to it any other time. If I look around, we're probably not going to find any beds here. Because I think the beds only appear in this version of Minecraft if you place them. They don't automatically come with beds. So, yeah, we're going to have to figure out a place to stay in for the night because we're quickly running out of time here. That place doesn't even have a door. So, yeah, there's nothing in there. Wow, fancy building a building like that. I don't know if they're going to be able to get anywhere, but anyway, we gotta. Oh, great, and now it's raining. Even more reason to get a bed. Let's see if we can find any sheep real quick. Okay, there we go. Got this. Nice. All right, and we'll set up home in here. Yeah, we're gonna need to craft a torch though. Is this one better? Kind of like picking hotel rooms when the whole hotel is open to you. All right, so we'll just make some torches real quick, and then place those so that we don't get a rude awakening in the middle of the night. Got one in the door, one outside the door, one in there for good measure, because I hate seeing zombie villagers. And then the last one will plonk up there by the crafting table. Couple more planks. And I get a bed. All right. We ride at dawn. Okay, we're heading east out of Osk into the, I almost said Great Redwood Forest. The, I believe it's the North Autumn Woods is the, yeah, we're heading out into the North Autumn Woods in search of Great Autumn Mountain. Basically, the description of Great Autumn Mountain is it's a very, very tall mountain with autumn leaves on it, and unfortunately, my coordinates are a little bit off because I don't think that there is a actual mountain where the coordinates have it. So now I have to decide which one of these is it, because now that I've gotten a bunch of there was like a special way that I used to use to get to Great Autumn Mountain, and unfortunately I don't have I don't remember which way that was. And so now, having done the space maps, we've gotten an elevation map of Norsden Land. So now there's, let's see, there's one, there's two, there's three, there's four, there's five, there's six peaks in this biome that could, in theory, qualify as Great Autumn Mountain. The only thing that I remember about it is that it has a sheer cliff to, I believe it's the south and the eastern side. So we're just going to have to look around and see if we can find it. Because I think the coordinates that I had for this thing. Yeah, the coordinates that I had for this thing was negative 1202, negative 8055. So we basically kind of went through that. And so now this is like the northernmost section of Great Autumn Woods. And I had a map that the label, this is where the label says Great Autumn Mountain is, but I'm not seeing it here. So we've got no mountain where it says to expect one, and we've got the coordinate of where it's supposed to be, and it's not there, which is kind of a problem here. This looks a lot like it because it has the ledge, but the problem is when I turn around, you can see there are no autumn trees on it. So that effectively disqualifies that mountain from the Great Autumn Mountain. Now I'm going to take a look here and see if I can find it. Okay, this mountain here is plausible. So let's see. so this has a little bit of a cliff to the south in the east. It's kind of hard to determine if it's enough. The problem is, though, this mountain is not very tall, and I seem to remember Great Autumn Mountain being something like 120 blocks high, which would not fit the description. But it's oh, the sun's going down. We're gonna have to get back to the village and resume our search in the morning. Okay, guys, after 2 full days of searching, I think I've got it. So this whole mountain structure here, which transitions into a mountain structure, interestingly enough, or an autumn structure. This is where the map label said that Great Autumn Mountain is located. As you can see, it's only about 90 blocks high. I really thought it was taller than that, but I did an exhaustive search. There was no mountain structure that was purely mountains like this that qualified to be Great Autumn Mountain, other than this one here. No other ones have quite the height and have autumn trees on them, and in the northern section, which is where Great Autumn Woods are. So I'm taking a look at this tree right here, and it looks like a very nice square tree that's isolated that we can replace. So this tree is what we will harvest and take with us to the moon. So the goal here is, put that back, to collect a whole bunch of leaves. And the leaves will, when placed, produce oxygen that the oxygen collector will then consume. At the same time, because I'm an eco-nut, after harvesting the tree, we'll replant it so that we're ensured that we're going to get another tree growing in this location. Because I always believe a tree for a tree. And that's part of the reason why I picked the smallest tree here, is because I wanted to make sure that it was one that could be easily grown back, not one of those crazy, super old trees that never really will spawn back. And yeah, these are the leaves that will go with us to the moon. So we actually got a number of saplings from harvesting this tree, which is fantastic. So we'll take the tree trunk and plonk one sapling in its place here. And then we'll save the others. Okay, so part 1 is accomplished. We've got our leaves. Now it's time to get our water up at Lake Rothsan. Alright, so we're going to make our way back to Osk now. So this will help me always remember where that mountain is, because not only do we have the coordinates, but we have the whole routing going back to Osk here. And yeah, I'm just really surprised that this mountain was where it said, and I didn't recognize it the first time. Because, like, the reason I call it a Great Autumn Mountain was because it was a great mountain. Like, it was a really tall, prominent mountain. I'm just really surprised that I didn't recognize it the first time, because with a prominent mountain, you can normally identify it. But anyway, we're back at Osk now, and it's nighttime again. So we'll spend another night, and then we'll move on to Lake Rothsan. Okay, now, unlike the Great Autumn Mountain, there is no question about where this location on Lake Rothsan is. It is Norsden Land's largest freshwater lake, and we're grabbing it from a particular spring on the northern edge of the lake. So it's impossible to know where it is. Now, this is the south shore of Lake Rothsan, and this journey will give us an opportunity to do a little bit of sightseeing, because on the moon, I won't be treated to such beautiful landscapes such as whirlholes. But yeah, other than that, yeah, there's no water on the moon. There's gonna be no trees on the moon, um, which is specifically why we need our water here, enough to build a infinite source. So this is Lower Lake Rothsan here. This is probably the most visited section because it's the southernmost. It's connected to the Dachau River, which flows into it. And now at this neck, we pass into the middle Lake Rothsan. This is where the water gets big and it gets deep, and it gets a lot more clear. To the left is Lake Tavor, flows out of Lake Rothsan into a special lake of its own. Oop, I nearly lost the boat there. Lake Tavor Village is up that way too. Oh, we gonna get an ink sac? Yeah, let's get an ink sac. Oh, we actually got two. Nice. Yeah, I like collecting those when I can. I always feel guilty kind of punching the squid because they're just defenseless and they mind their own business. Except for when they crash into you. Then I don't feel bad about it. Okay, with that neck, we just passed into Upper Lake Rothsan. So this is the clearest, crispest water. We're in the high mid latitudes. Lake Rothsan is kind of like the Lake Baikal of Norsden Land. It's a gorgeous lake. I guess you could also call it analogous to Lake Superior, especially up here. The rock formations on the side kind of lend it to being a lot like the North Shore of Superior or the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, with just some really crystal clear water. And yeah, this is where we're going to get it from. All right, now those two trees that you see just covered up by the horizon, that is the top of Lake Rothsan. That is also the Arctic tree line. You go beyond those two trees, you are in the tundra. Or I should say the northern tundra of Norsden Land. And starting to enter the Glass Ridge Mountains. The particular spring that we are looking for, however, is right here. So we'll go ahead and hop out into the crystal clear lake here, which has realistic sight lines. I'm sure, this would almost be like Tahoe in terms of water clarity. Just absolutely gorgeous. And this is our spring. So we're going to look for a source block here that will hopefully be large enough for us to take. I'm not going to take it, though, unless I'm convinced that we would be able to collect the source block without damaging it. Yeah, we're not getting through there. So to do that, there needs to be an infinite water source up there already, which, yeah, that doesn't, yeah. That's just a single water source. So if we take from that, the whole spring will go away, and I don't want to do that. So plan B. We're going to grab the water right here where it flows into Lake Rothsan, where it essentially becomes big enough to grab it. So we'll take a nice little picture right here. This is the spot on Norsden Land where all water from the moon has originated from. 1, 2. And now we have our leaves, we have our water, we have our tanks. We just need to fill the oxygen, and then we are ready for the moon. And I'm going to take this opportunity to appreciate the beauty that is planet Earth before we leave it. There's no water on the surface of any solar system object in liquid form. There's methane lakes on Titan, but they're in the middle of a desert. There's no trees anywhere. This is a landscape that's kind of unique to the planet. And yeah, I'm just going to take this opportunity to take it in, contrast it with the magnificent desolation that is the moon. Here again is the south shore of Lake Rothsan. Our aquatic journey has come to an end. And at this point, we'll be. Oh, this pesky thing. I can't stand these boats. That's a little better. I really wish the Minecraft physics of getting in and out of boats were greatly improved. I can get in and out of a canoe IRL much easier. Anyway, so it's getting late in the day, so let's go back to Osk one more time and get one more night out of the village, and then it's on to Metal and Fire on our way to Stone. Always pick out the highest location on the landscape for the maximum speed. I'll do some inventory management here as well. Okay, that's it. So now we're on our way to all things iron, steel, aluminum, and fire, to ultimately the lunar landscape. The nice time and a beautiful refuge in the center of Norsden Land. All right, here we go. Taking off back to the east. Go ahead and do our spin around here. Get to see the autumn woods one more time on our way out and passing here as we make our way back to the east. Now passing directly over Africa Lake right And that's it to our right. That's the last autumn trees we'll see. We're now over West Utah Lake and the south side of Utah Cove now, which is the easternmost that western Norsden Land formations reach. That being the Autumn Woods, the Great Redwood Forest, the Thousand Lakes Boreal Forest, and the Drum Meadows. Now we're back over the south central tundra here. You should see the high-speed line 4. Yes, there it is. Crossing over that right now. I should mention line 4 connects with Oss. It goes due south to the Banks River and then joins up with line 1 in Moon River Town, and then splits south of Moon River Bay from line 1 and continues going south into the southern swamps, past Balloon Sounds, down into the Lake Saucer area where it enters the Tetrium jungle. It then starts heading more southeasterly and then eventually east through the Alstat forests, and then eventually intercepts line 2, the southeastern line, just after it crosses Sun River. And we'll actually encounter that at the very end of this episode on our way to the Space Center. Now coming up to Swamp End Ditchland. We're now passing just north of Laxburg, and this is about the time in a commercial flight where you'll start to hear the engines spooling back and the plane entering a gentle descent. For we are nearing our international airport. We're passing just to the north of New Venice now, and we should start to see the airport coming into sight any second. And this craft is really fidgety. It, you see, it's like suddenly, like I turn the camera drastically. That's not me doing that. That's actually if I don't touch the mouse, it'll do that without me even asking for it to do it, and it's basically impossible to control. I think that's designed to like pretend to be wind or something. But anyway, we'll set up here for a final approach on the runway. Very short final. Yeah, we're just gonna have to live with that. But hey, it's on the runway, right? I guess that's all we can ask for. Oh, need to get back into it. There we go. And we're back in the terminal. So at this point, let's go back to our oxygen tanks here and finish that off. So this one managed to completely fill the oxygen tank while we were gone. go ahead and fill that one, and then come back when it's done. All right, we're just about full, and we'll grab the oxygen tank. Boom. And now we can head back to New Venice and be quick about it because the sun's going down. We'll make use of our W45 harbor tunnel here to get back into New Venice without having to get our feet wet. Home sweet home. I'm going to grab just a few more food items here. We'll get some carrots. We can take these as some of the food that's going to space with us. Tomorrow morning we'll pack our train up with everything that's in this chest and take our -9 here. Well, actually, I think it's an SD80 down south on the line. All right, last day in New Venice. It's nice to see it continues to grow even to this day. Surprising because I haven't added doors in a while. But anyway, so it's time to pack things up. So let's see, I'll go in here. We need to make sure we have enough fuel, and we got spare tracks as well and a crowbar. We do. So this is what we need to pack. And then we need to get our freight car, which is sitting in this siding here. So we'll go ahead and shunt that out, but that's what will allow us to get so much. And normally what you do is you have this thing tow, but for some reason the mod that this is, despite the fact that you can link carts together, it is incredibly glitchy. So like to the point where what will happen is you'll be towing a train car behind you, and then you would go up on you would turn, right? The track turns, and after that is the water. Well, the car behind you won't turn. It'll instead go into the water and then sit there. No matter how you drive the train, it'll just permanently be wrecked. Essentially like a derailment, like it just comes off and goes in there. And it's a mess. So instead we're going to push the cart, which is much more successful. Okay, we're going to start packing by taking two of the most important items we need and putting them in the freight van. That's going to be the pickaxe and the sword. And we'll need those on the moon. And then we'll grab the chest and take everything out of that chest and put it into the freight van. And this is a space operation, so we're going to be very careful about how we do this to make sure we have everything. So we've got a sword, we've got a pickaxe, we've got our Goodwill book, we've got 5 solar panels, then we've got our 35 plus copper wire, the oxygen collector, leaves from autumn woods, greater than 8 oxygen pipes, the oxygen bubble distributor, the battery box, the parts for the oxygen compressor, and then 81 dirt, 2 water buckets, the hoe, 80 wheat seeds, our sealable copper pipe and sealable oxygen pipes, the oxygen sealer, and the electric furnace. And then we'll grab a few more items here. 2 glowstone, at least 86 tin decoration blocks, and then a stack of glass blocks, extra O2 tanks, which we've got there, then a bed, and shears. So we don't have the bed. Okay, I also want to take this chest itself, because it could come in use on the moon. So we're going to take that as well. Okay, anything else that we don't have for now, we'll grab tomorrow. So this is it. We're fully packed, and we're going to ship out tomorrow morning. And we've got our map of all of Norsden Land, so we're going to start here in New Venice, and we're going to take line 2, the southeast line, down past Buzzicunter Beach into the Alstadt forests, and then into the equatorial forests to the launch site at Star Dune Rise Space Center. And that's where our episode will conclude. We'll get to see some really cool stuff there. Okay, that's it. We're saying goodbye to New Venice at this point. The comforts of home are no longer going to be available because we have to start getting ready for our mission. So we're gonna take the subway there because I gotta do my trains, right? So we'll go ahead and hop in here, reset the brake. We'll take the yellow line of the New Venice subway, which is loosely based on the path system. If you can imagine a extra line that does not exist between World Trade Center that goes north to 9th Street and then does 14th Street, 23rd, and 33rd Streets. That is basically the equivalent of the line that we're taking right now. And this will take us to the train station. So we'll take this all the way to the end of the line to the turnaround point and then bring it back one stop to where we want to be. Okay, this is the north end of the line here. It's equivalent to 33rd Street, and then we'll take it back to the 23rd Street equivalent right there. And this is our train station. We'll set the brake. And that's it for the subway. So we'll then proceed on to our own train here, the SD80. And while that's warming up, we'll just double check and make sure all the switches are set, which they are. Once it's hot, we'll be able to move it. We're good now. Oh, that's weird. We don't want to move backwards, we want to move forward. So we'll just very gently move forward until we've picked up the freight car, which we have. Now we can move a little bit faster. So I don't think I've called these out before, but I will this time. I've finally begun to assign line speed limits to make the train lines a little bit more realistic. So coming right out of the gate, it's 15, and then it goes up to 25, and then 45, and now out of the tunnel we can go 60. Now we will have to slow down for the line 1, line 2 junction up here to set that properly, because it'll be aligned for line 1. As a reminder, we're actually on both line 1 and line 2 here. This is where it diverges. Line 1 goes out to Westport on the west coast, so it's the Transcon. That's not the one we're using today. We're using line 2, which is the southeast line that goes down to south of King. We'll go ahead and switch that back there. It goes all the way to South Point East, which is the southernmost point in South of King. After, let's see, after here, the speed limit is 40 while we go through Enterprise Station here. And then it'll start going up to the maximum line speed. So after the bridge, we'll go up to 60. And then after this final turn, we'll go to the line maximum speed of 79. And we're on our way to Buzzacunger Beach. At Buzzacunger Beach, the line drops back to about 50 again while we go through the station. And now past Buzzacunger Beach, we're back up to the line max of 79. And of course, as soon as I take the picture at, oh, look at how successful that is, we lose the train. Not to worry, though. There's this weird effect where it's like train inertia, where if it's exceeded to a certain degree, the inertia will yield and you'll phase through the object. So that is... there is a workaround. You just basically have to slow down on a hill like that to avoid exceeding that sort of inertia crush factor, if you can imagine it like that. It's kind of like moving an egg around. If you hit the egg too hard, it will crack and you'll go through it. Except it doesn't crack, you just go through it. That's kind of how it can be described. So the harder you push on it, there's a limit where if you push too hard, you'll essentially push through it. It's a strange, unearthly-like physics, but it's oddly intuitive. And I had previously mentioned how Line 4 goes south and intercepts Line 2 in the Alstat forests. This is actually it right here. So we make sure that that's set. It's normally set for Line 2, so I got mixed up there for some reason. But yeah, so this is the same line from Ost that we saw on board the airship coming in here. So that's a 30 through there, and we're back to 79 all the way to the Space Center. And unfortunately, this kind of constant back and forth with the freight car has rendered us not being able to make it in time, unfortunately. And oh, there it goes down the hill. So we're gonna have to spend the night out in a tree, unfortunately. But this will give us an opportunity to take a look at the railroad to ultimately our final destination, which is kind of interesting. So we'll kind of park out here to get away from the ground. But yeah, it's a railroad to the moon. So it's pretty interesting. So it's mid-morning right now. I'm debating on whether or not it's safe to continue. Had a run-in with a creeper a few minutes ago. There's another one. We're going to have to drag him away from there. Can't have him near the train tracks. Good opportunity to egg him too. Pesky, pesky, pesky. Alright, all we got to do is drag him far enough away, and then we'll escape to the side and flank him, get around back to the train. It's going to be cold, unfortunately, so we're going to have to wait a couple minutes while we warm it up. I don't see the freight van anywhere, so it like really went down the hill. See if we're warmed up enough. Yeah, we're good. We can start moving, and by the time we get to it, it'll be hot. crossing Route N1 again, and now we're picking up to our right the equivalent of the A1A, which I think is the A145 in Norsden Land. But yes, I am seeing the large buildings of our space center, which we are entering now. Upon entering the base, the speed limit drops to 50. And we're going through the vehicle assembly building, and we've got a rocket. We've got a rocket on the pad right now. Past the VAB, when clearances get tighter, the speed limit drops to 40. That's where we are right now. It's pretty dense here, and there's our station. So we're here. We've arrived. We just got to get this thing into the yard. So we'll go ahead and flip a couple switches here to get the rail car where it belongs. And perfect. It's going to go into the hump yard. We'll flip the switch for us and ride the locomotive into its parking spot. Beautiful. Not a bad trip. We did lose the rail car a few times, but it was isolated, and we were able to solve the issue every time it happened very quickly. So yeah, we made it. We're at the Space Center, and there you have it. We and everything we need for a moon mission are at the Space Center. So next episode we will be ticking down to liftoff. So the next episode will be focused on establishing my countdown procedure, and then when it's good, lifting off. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you next time when we count down for the moon. This is Dr. Aeronautics, signing out.